As government and non-governmental organizations continue the fight against sexual and gender-based violence, it is worrisome that rape has assumed epidemic proportions. These predators are on school premises, hospital wards, areas of worship, corporate and government offices, and playgrounds. While rape and sexual assault against persons, male or female, comes in different forms, the most common in our country is against girls and women. This does not mean a male child is not a victim in this respect. They are categorized as a silent victim. They are often told it is shameful and childish for a male child to cry or not to be able to control his emotions. Many victims of rape have either died or have been told not to speak to anyone about the incident, and the act becomes epidemic. Many cases go unreported because of fear, stigmatization, police extortion, and lack of trust in the judiciary process among some victims and their families. The results of survey in July 2019 suggested that up to 1 in every 3 girls living in Nigeria could have experienced at least one form of sexual assault by the time they reach 25. In order to prevent this epidemic in the society, the Men Against Rape Foundation and Keren Safe Haven Foundation, in memory of Keren-Happuch, who died as a result of complications from rape, have taken the initiative to create awareness against rape and child abuse for school children. According to them, the initiative is to create a safe environment by protecting children from pedophiles who are on the prowl. Keren-Happuch was a boarding student at Premier Academic Lugbe Abuja who was raped. A condom left inside her by the killer rapist infected her with sepsis and spiked her blood sugar, leading to her death on June 22, 2021. Although the matter is in court, 2 years after her death, Keren, a victim of rape, is yet to get the justice she deserves, while her killer is yet to be arrested. Speaking at the event on Thursday, Keren's mother, Mrs. Vivian Akpaga, gave reasons why she decides to start such initiative.
Keren, who was my daughter, died as a result of complications from rape. And clearly the Nigerian society is hush about rape and does not really support rape victims. So in order to arrest this menace and then see to it that children who are basically the victims of this are able to speak out and talk about it when it happens to them. This inadvertently will help arrest this and make our society a saner society.
Akpaga therefore advised that
The ministry in charge of giving approvals for people to site school or to run schools must be careful of who these approvals are issued to, because most of the private schools we find today are being run for the return on their investment. It's not really a passion to see that children are educated, it's to see that I get a good return on my investment. So they're not really particular about stopping such things in school. Rather, they will want to close it up so that the name of the school is not maligned or something.
Also speaking, Lemi Ubege, founder of MARF, emphasized the need to prevent other children from what happened to Keren by building their knowledge in order to easily identify pedophiles and speak up when they see one.
This was a child of 14 years old. Government has failed in all sense. Government failed in protecting her. Government is failing in making sure she gets justice. So this event is for 2 reasons. One, to call attention to the world, to government, to the people, that the justice for Keren that we seek is still elusive because government and agencies of government, including the police, have failed us in one breath. Then 2, because we know Keren was a very kind-hearted child, we would not want the fate that befell her to befall any other child. We decided to create an avenue like this that will help build knowledge base of children. They can identify would-be perpetrators, would-be pedophiles from afar, and know how to raise their voices and raise alarm to it. So 2 ways to immortalize her is to ensure that it never happens to any other child, and this is part of the process.
Ugebe also accused the Nigerian police force of failing to get justice for Keren, but rather demanding 1.2 million naira from her family.
After 2 years, you have not taken any step. After 2 years, the same police that when the mother of the child went to file a formal complaint at the beginning, June 22, 2021, the same police asked the mother of the child for 1.2 million naira as money for mobilization. for a mother who has lost her child. Of course, she didn't have money but was desperate to ensure that the police did its job. So she was still able to rally around and raise the 800,000 unreceipted for. As we speak, a mother who paid for autopsy procedure on her child, a mother who paid for medical procedure before the child died, has not been availed any of the medical records of the child. Does this not show failure on the part of police? Does it not show compromise on the part of the police? What else will show compromise? I am entitled to medical report on what happened to my child. And if I even paid for it, I am more entitled. 2 years on, nobody cares about how the family is living through this traumatic experience. And I call out the police. I call out all government agencies who ought to be on top of this matter. They have failed us. 54 CCTV cameras are in that school where she was raped, yes, but are in that school where the mother complained that her daughter was raped. 54 CCTV camera. We gave intelligence to the police to say, go and retrieve it. If you retrieve the footages of June 16, 2021 to 18th of 2021, and you do not find anything to show where she was raped and what happened to her, we will take responsibility to apologize and stop what we are doing. But what did the police do? You are all experienced enough with your laptops, with your system, that even when your system crashes, you can recover your material. Ordinary recovery app can help you recover materials. Now, the school's claim is that those CCTV footages delete themselves automatically after every 1 month. We raised the alarm of the child's death a day before the child died, that the child was raped. Now, what do you do if you are responsible and you want to make sure that the truth is found? You back up, assuming it is true. But you and I know that technology has gone beyond this. If the police didn't fail us, police has enough in their artillery to be able to recover whatever footages.
Some of the students who were at the event have this to say.
Education is very important to male children, because when people face women telling us how women are facing discrimination, they don't focus on men, leaving men in isolation, keeping them in a way like they are not important, they are not reasonable in society. For me, sex education to be taught to both female and male children is important for people to know, because men are the head of families. The children are the future of Nigeria. We as men should teach our children to know their rights from their left, to know their rights from their wrong, teaching them everything they need to know about sex education, sex life, schools, education. That's generally it.
To tackle this menace of rape in our country, we are discussing on the various ways that we all can gather together to fight this menace, to curb it out of our country. We are trying to provide a secured nation for our upcoming generation, where they can live and stay securely in their country. We want to build a nation where other people from other nations of the world would come and abide in, because our country will be free of rape. We want to provide also justice for the victims who have been molested or harassed. We need to fight for their rights.
In her own remarks, Chioma Oyenuche, a legal practitioner, while highlighting reasons why sexual and other gender-based violence persists in the country, called on the government to devise effective means and strategies to effectively tackle the menace.
Children usually fall victim because they are unassuming. They do not know. They have not been told. They are not exposed to the likelihood of these things happen. Sex education, if not well handled, may sometimes have negative consequences. But it's important that we inculcate age-appropriate sex education into the school curriculum so that children are educated. It doesn't make them lose their innocence at all, no. But it will help them to be able to identify red flags. It will help them identify things to guard against, things to run away from. And it will encourage them on when they need to speak up, on what they need to speak up about.
Our body is silence for our parents,